Let's go! Not over.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. With me, as always, is my good friend, Johnny C., creator of Surrounded by Death. What is up, dude? How you doing?
What's up, my man? You know, sometimes making comics is easy, and sometimes it's a complete fiasco.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. We should talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like I just came out of one of those scenarios where it was a complete fiasco. Not to knock anybody that was involved creatively. It's just sometimes things don't come together right, and it's just a big mess.
Well, you know what it reminded me of? It was reminding me of being back in school, like, you know, cramming all those that homework in the last moment, the night before. But so what Johnny's talking about, Johnny, you're part of Cthulhu. Is it Cthulhu is Hard to Spell anthology?
Yeah, so Wannabe Press has a wonderful anthology called Cthulhu is Hard to Spell. There have been 2 volumes that I've been part of so far. With
I've seen them. They're really nice books.
Short. Oh, yeah, they're wonderful books. They're hardcover, beautiful. I always sell out of them at shows. And we're doing a 3rd volume. And within that 3rd volume, basically each one of our short, normally anthologies are all individualized stories that aren't connected. Ours was actually connected between books. So this was the finale of our little trilogy, and we just scrambled to the last minute to get it done and make sure it was as good as possible. You know, and you got to be lucky enough to have individuals like my man Keith over here who can pull you out of a jam at the last minute when necessary.
Yeah. Now, I was curious about this because you asked me to help you letter it like a week or 2 ago, and so were you like, you had somebody else in mind originally, right? Is that what happened? And then the guy ghosted you?
Yeah, so I wanted to get the individual from the first story back again, and they just stopped lettering. They were doing other things with life, so it kind of went into they went in a different direction. So I was kind of hoping they would come back for it, just a full circle kind of
get
thing.
Them back in.
Yeah, but it didn't work out that way.
That happens with some people. Like I've been in this crazy industry long enough now to see a few people come in and you think they're going to go the distance, and then a few years later they're just gone and disappeared. And you don't know if they just stopped or if they just don't go to shows anymore or what. But no, I was happy to come in and help out. It was crazy how, I mean, literally it was like the last couple of hours everyone was scrambling to put this thing together. Because I know when I lettered it, which, I've done this with other projects before, is like I'll letter on the black and white art because it's not complete, but they want me to kind of, they kind of want to move the project along, so they give me the black and white pages, and I've done it with Don Chin a couple of times, and I would just letter the page, and then when the artwork's finished, I come in and I just swap out the pages, and that's what we were kind of doing. the thing that stunk is my job last week. Usually I have a little bit of time to work on some stuff there, but we were so goddamn busy that
Same here in the office. Our
yeah,
office
I
was
just
busy
didn't
last week and
have
this
that
week.
time to go in and do a page or two. So come Saturday, my weekend was packed too. So Saturday I was like, oh God, I gotta get some of this done. And so I think I got 3 pages done Saturday. And then Sunday, I just buckled down and did the other 5.
Well,
and
it came out phenomenal, man. Your work is amazing.
Thanks.
Like even like the stuff we did in Surrounded by Death was so awesome. Like I can't wait for people to see that. You know, I'm so excited for it.
I love lettering, and I've said this before. It feels like you're editing a movie. You know, like it's the final piece of. You know, it's like it's the final completion of the whole thing, you know? And,
It's like when you like you see a movie without a score and then they add the score. Wow, what a difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. Or you just, you know, fixing a little scene here and there. I just thought it was funny. It was like literally a race against time because you had to have the story uploaded to their server by midnight, right?
By midnight. So
I was lettering I was doing the changes and adding the final artwork. I think at 11:30 or 11:40 or something like
11:49. Like
So
the one thing I did forget is time zones. So
you ended up actually being ahead of time.
We were ahead of time because it's West Coast midnight, not East Coast midnight. So there I was at like 11:59. The logo wasn't finalized, and that's no diss on the logo. The guy creating the logo, Nathan Burns, is awesome. I recommend him highly for anything you guys need to do. It's just this one didn't work out exactly the way we wanted it, and it was really nobody's fault. Did it turn out
okay? I don't think I saw the final page.
It came out awesome. It looks
okay.
Great.
Good.
Simple, basic. Yeah. It does the job, but yeah, it came out great.
I like the story. It's really fun. I love how you worked Magic the Gathering and Cthulhu together. That's basically kind of the plot, right?
Like, that's really the plot of the story. Yeah.
It's great.
It was actually I was inspired by Clash of the Titans.
Oh, okay. I could see that. Totally see that now that you said that. You know.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, and then I just kind of rigged it with magic cards or a approximation of magic cards. You know.
Yeah. I was gonna mention too. Yeah, like I see Harry perking up here. You need logo. Harry's done logos. I don't know how much he charges, but he.
Well, I remember his Bigfoot design that he showed us last week. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, I know he's a creative guy, and I know Harry pretty well. Hit him up if you ever need something down the road. He might be your guy. You know, he does have some cool designs. Actually, while we're here, let's say hello to everybody.
Let's make sure we go through the chat. And Keith, before we get to the guest, I threw a link in the private chat.
Okay, yeah, great.
I just want to give a quick shout out to that campaign.
Yeah, definitely. And I also want to give a shout out to Alterna as well. So we got Ara. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, Ara.
Good to see you here. Amy, good to see you. Roland's in the house tonight. Roland, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here.
This song sounds familiar. Yes, for sure.
Yes, yeah. That I do like that. I do like that song you have for the Surrounded by Death trailer. That's a friend of yours, right?
Oh, it is. That's Vulgarity.
Vulgarity. Yeah, I like it. It's a very cool instrumental. You know. Harry says he'll be appearing at Rhode Island Comic Con this weekend. Unfortunately, I won't be there. Are you going to be attending, Johnny?
The only way I'll be attending that show is if I can get hooked up with a badge for Sunday.
Yeah.
But I also have an open invite for like a creators pub meetup at 5 in Boston.
But you're probably going to go running to.
Yeah, I don't want to go running to Rhode Island to then have to go to Boston. But if the badge is presented and I'm feeling spirited,
you might have
Sunday
that last
morning,
minute
I might go do it.
Harry, honestly, Rhode Island's kind of not for us anymore. I hate to say it. It's like it's very celebrity driven, and it's everyone's there for that and not for comics. So it's like every time I get a table there, I lose money. So I just kind of stopped. unless something changes with them and they go less celebrity, I think I'm going to stay away from that show.
This year might be that though, because there is actually less celebrity, so to speak, at Rhode Island. So I'm really gunning for a lot of the people that are going to be exhibiting there this weekend. Big shout out to Wayward Raven. Those guys are coming up from New Jersey. And
oh, really? They're going to be doing that show.
Alex is coming up from New Jersey after that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw that they were doing some kind of, aren't they doing some kind of anthology too?
They're doing an anthology too. Submissions are open on that.
Yeah, we'll have to have them on again to talk about that. Roland says apparently Cthulhu is closer to Cthulhu. Is that Cthulhu? Is that how you say it?
Cthulhu? I don't know. I'm lost.
Dean Morris, Johnny Cash. I mean,
good to see you, man. Thanks for checking in.
Adam Warlock, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here tonight. My man? And Aris said he'll be there on Sunday. Well,
if I go, Ara, I'll see you. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully,
to see you, bud.
I hope you find some good stuff there. I mean, that's a tough show. They don't, like I said, it's not very friendly to comics. So before let's take a look at both of these. I definitely want to shout out for the Alterna campaign again. Look at this, Johnny. We're over 26,000.
Wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Man.
Like,
that's so awesome. This is the future of comic distribution right here. You're looking at for indie comic distribution. This is where it's at. Like, because Alterna's ahead of the curve here on this one, I think.
I think so too. And like he's going to be doing these campaigns 4 times a year, like every season. And he told me, or he said this a few times, that he would only get every month on Diamond, he would get about a $5,000 purchase order from Diamond. So, I mean, look at this. So if you go by that logic, so technically it's every season, right? So 3 months per season, right? So it's, if you say 5,000 per month, we're still 10,000 or even 11,000 more than what Diamond would pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other key thing is more of this money is going into the creator's pocket and less going into a middleman. That's the huge thing. You know,
that is the huge part about it right there. Yeah.
And this is going direct to readers. You don't have to go to a store. It comes right to your doorstep, which is fantastic.
Yeah. It's a great way of just having creators being empowered right there.
Yes.
The money's going directly back to them to make a more quality product, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And my, if you haven't gotten Mighty Mascots 4 from a convention or from my previous campaign, this is where you can get it. So this is the official release with Alterna. There's some great books here, Wolf and Batsy, T-Bird and Throttle, which I highly recommend. This book is excellent. Blood Realm is great. All of these. I love all these books. And it's not just because I know these guys. They're actually legit talented. Oh, you know what, Johnny? I'm looking forward to actually meeting Dave face to face in San Diego, who does Tinseltown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he was one of our earliest guests. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I loved Tinseltown. That was just like such an awesome read. And the fact that it was based on a true story, like would love to see Dave in person.
Yeah, he's actually, if the map goes correctly, he's actually 1 over from me. So it's going to be fantastic.
So he's actually in between us, because I think I'm 2 over from you as well. So
that's perfect.
Yeah,
dude,
it's cool.
It's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to meeting him.
I'm excited for California. It's gonna be a
too. And Ryan Wynn, I told Ryan about it. He may come down too, just to hang out. So it'd be cool to see those guys and meet the Alterna West Coast. You know.
Yeah.
But just wanted to show the Mighty Mascots campaign here, so that. Yeah, so definitely check this out. Now let me check out Johnny's link here.
Yeah, so this link is for a campaign running currently on Indiegogo. It's called the Thin Blue Line.
The Mike Barron, he's an old school writer, comic writer.
Yeah, old school,
Nexus,
like Punisher.
Nexus
absolutely,
and all that stuff.
So now, Mike. I was just going to say my connection to this campaign, and it's not really a connection, just a good friend of mine, Joe Arnold, who is also the illustrator on Sartana, illustrated this book. He is also a police officer. So
no kidding. Your artist is a police officer?
Yes, the artist on Sartana is a police. He wasn't one when we started. He is one now. So he worked
so
really
cool.
hard to get there. He is the best, one of the kindest individuals I've ever met. Love the guy, love him to death. He's the illustrator in this campaign. You know, he even tweeted out, he goes, you know, even if you're not a supporter of the
Love
police, or,
this.
you know, if you think you're, I know, right? If you're Abacab or fuck the police, still support this, because there's going to be donations going to help properly train police for non-lethal takedown methods to help avoid
wow.
deaths and accidents. Yeah. So this is, it's just a beautiful campaign with like beautiful artwork from Joe. You know, I backed it. I can't wait to read it.
This looks good. This is his artwork right here.
That's his artwork right there. Yep.
Yeah, he's come up. I'd say just like you're surrounded by death artists.
Joe Martinez.
Yeah, like this looks like I see a vast improvement over the Sartana stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sartana was one of his early projects, and you can see over time.
Yeah, dude, this looks
he got
great. He's been getting better.
He got a lot better.
Yeah, dude, so sure. I'd love to have him on just to ask him, like, you know, like, is he gonna which one's gonna take over, the police or the comic stuff? You know, like when he reaches that point, like, because he's good. You know, he's really good. Like this artwork.
I don't know if he does like live streams or anything, but I'll talk to him. He's I'm gonna have to talk to him about doing the 8-pager for the Surrounded by Death special in campaign fulfillment. So maybe we can get him to come on and talk about this, and to talk about the next Sartana when it happens. There's Mike.
Yeah, that'd be
There's
great.
Joe right there on the left.
There he is, Joey Arnold. The his artwork reminds me a lot of like Phil Winslade, or even like John McCrae, like his later stuff.
Yeah, I could see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like Hitman. Don't you see a little bit of Hitman in this?
A little bit. Yeah.
I like it. This looks good. I may have to back this myself. I like the fact that they're going to donate to police and things like that. That's really cool. Yeah, this looks great. Yeah. So if you guys are into that, definitely check this out. And I can vouch for Mike Barron is a great writer. And he actually was I was on a stream with him not too long ago, because he contributed a 1 or 2 page story to Don Chin's X-Farce Reloaded. He has a 2-pager in there. And Don got him to come on one show that we were on, and it was cool to see him. You know, I hadn't seen Mike in a long time, and I'm a big Nexus fan from back in the 80s. So this is great.
Awesome. I'm very proud of Joe on this campaign. He put a lot of heart into it, and shows, you know.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so a lot of the promo stuff out of the way. So tonight on our show is somebody I met at New York Comic Con. He was my booth mate right next to me this year. First time I ever met him. Cool dude. We chit-chatted all weekend, and he's more of like I would guess more of like a traditional artist and photographer, I think. I want to find out more about it, you know, but he's also looking to break
dive
into
a little
comics.
Deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
He swung by the booth in Artist Alley too. Yeah, let's bring him on in.
Yeah, definitely. Without further ado, tonight's guest, Scott Kraynak. Hi, Scott. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man.
I was really anxious to hear how you would describe me, Keith.
Oh yeah,
this dude was weird. Some of his art was creepy. I wanted to pick up early and go.
I wouldn't say creepy. I would say interesting. Okay. I you know, honestly, like I look like I'm the all ages guy, but I'm actually a very big horror fan. I love horror movies. Johnny knows I'm a big horror dude, and but I like everything. You know, I'm like kind of like I'm all over the place with my taste and stuff like that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
so
as you could tell.
So was that an accurate description, Scott? Like you're more like a traditional artist, and you do photography too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I do everything: illustration, photography. I hate labels like fine art. I hate that.
Right.
Like I show a lot in galleries. I do a lot of work on found objects. But you know, I'm working on the Amen book, which is traditional comics with a bunch of other artists. So I'm kind of all over the place, you know.
Awesome. Renaissance man, as they say.
Yeah, right.
Somebody else called me that on a podcast. I'm like, wow, that's flattering. But
Yeah, no, that's great. So how have you been doing this all along your whole life, ever since you were young, or?
I've been good at art my whole life. Like that was the one thing I excelled at in high school. Pretty much nothing else. I mean,
Same, yeah.
and I went to school for art. For
Where did you
whatever.
go?
Kent State.
Kent State. Oh,
I'm from
okay.
Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Goulardi represent.
Nice.
But like I went to college and I chose graphic design for whatever reason. Maybe because that's the one job in art that you could make a living, and
Yeah.
it wasn't me, and I wasn't as passionate about art as I am now. I didn't consider myself an artist, and it wasn't until maybe 15 years ago that I really started to pick up drawing again.
Really? So did you stop for a while and then kind of find your love for it again?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just was working 2 jobs and just like a regular blue collar dude. And then, so my regular job, I'm a park ranger, and I
That's interesting.
it was at Mount St. Helens in Washington, and I just started drawing. I don't know. I mean, you probably know already, Keith, but my other passion besides art is the environment. So I was probably inspired by the surroundings, started drawing, and people dug it. And then I went to little events in Portland and like sold drawings and prints, and it just kind of snowballed. And
Really? Okay.
and now it's as big a part of my life as anything else, and it's constantly evolving, constantly expanding out what I do, and I just do what brings me joy, things of passion,
That's great to hear that, Scott. It sounds like, with a little bit of momentum, you embraced your creative spirit, and it actually carried you, and it carried you really, really far. I mean, far enough to bring you to New York Comic Con even, which,
Right.
That's a tough show to get into, but sure enough, you were there, and that's awesome. That's real awesome to see that you've made it that far,
Yeah, no, I've accomplished some pretty cool things, having work shown in a museum in Iceland.
Wow.
Doing me and my brother did New York before it with our book Animal Crackers, and I just did it again because I had so many new books, photography, and I'm working on a horror compilation. And from doing it the first time, I got into Artist Alley at C2E2, and it's just a good feeling, It's just like you're accepted, and you guys know, going to these conventions, like,
it's a grind.
You're with our people, and to be accepted,
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, that's one thing you can say about the comic community. I feel like, even if you're not like making money hand over fist, your fellow creators are very supportive,
Right.
like, I don't know. I always have a good time at shows.
Yeah.
I've reached that point though, where it's like, I don't know if I would go to shows just to go to them anymore. I've reached that point where I want to always be behind a table, I think, when I'm at a show now, How about you, Johnny? Is that the same?
Not necessarily, though. I like to go to a show just to go, because at that point, it's like you're not stuck to a table. You can go and you can network a lot better, at least for me, where I like to find new, colorists and artists and meet new people and network. When I'm stuck behind a table, it's like game on. I got to sell stuff. I got to, pay the bills that, can afford me to be here, and maybe take home a little extra scratch because I got to split it with my collaborators. But when I'm just going to a show to go to a show, it's just nice to, invest in other people's creativity and artwork and books and things like that. Because, again,
I love that aspect of it, I think.
Yeah. So I always think you always want to also just not lose sight of the fanboy in you either, So now, mind you, sometimes I won't pay to go to these shows. I'll try to score a wristband from a friend that's exhibiting or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's with me too, Johnny. It's like, I don't want to pay for, once you become part of the show, it's hard to pay for one and just go in. But I love that aspect of it. I'll never lose that aspect of wanting to support creators and finding new books that are interesting and, you know, everything like that. Harry had a great comment here too. I think Portland, Oregon is the greatest place for artists. Keep
Amen.
Portland weird.
You know what's a close second or a tie is Cleveland. I mean, I'll talk Cleveland this whole damn podcast. I love it, and it's a good community.
I've never been. I've heard that too.
Is that generally, Scott, or the creative community?
It's the creative and the art community is really well supported. It's like a family.
Oh, cool.
Like Gary Dumb from American Splendor is doing Amen with me, with a bunch of other artists. But it's not a lot of people know, but it's a great city, not just for the arts, but culturally, the museums, the parks, the food, the music. I mean, it's a great city. And to touch on what you just said, Johnny, this past New York Comic Con, I was combining being a fanboy and an artist, because as Keith would attest, I'd be like, hey man, I gotta go keep an eye on my table, and I was gone for like 2 hours getting autographs from other artists, and reaching out and talking to other artists, and it was just fantastic recruiting maybe other artists. And
you were saying you did some networking there, right? And you were talking to people for future projects.
You know, if you guys are interested in this Amen book, it's a bit political and probably controversial, but we're looking. Are
you looking for more artists or writers?
Well, I mean, I guess, could you pitch it to me a little bit, Scott? I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah.
Well, I per Keith's request, I took some things I've been working on. So it's your basic traditional comic book story. Okay. It's based on X-Men, but it's Amen, like Amen, Hallelujah. But it's today's current villains, at least in my opinion. Yeah. Current villains, they all get on a plane somehow from Cleveland. They crash into a swamp in Florida, owned by, I don't want to get too political. I don't.
Right. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Owned by a certain former president.
Okay.
I'm just going to stop right there. He's one of the Amen, but they turn into these villains. And so like the Amen, so it's more like I'd say, so it's a villain story in a lot of ways. Story. And X-Men,
but it has parody elements.
Right.
And
that
reminds me of the G-Men from the Flaming Carrot comics.
Maybe. Yeah. Or Mystery Men, something like that. But is it like, go ahead.
Funny. It's so there's Donald Trump's one of them. He turns into an orange Cheeto. There's a KKK Civil War reenactor from Ohio. There's a priest. Phil Osteen is represented, tongue in cheek, and there's a cardinal, like a bishop. And there's the creation story. It goes into the flight. The flight crashes, and the first issue is going to end. I'll just show this right now. So this is, I inked this, and this is something new to me. Gary Dumb drew the original. He's just so busy. I inked it. And so this is the first scene after it crashes. This is a world exclusive.
Can you make them big?
Yeah,
Keith?
definitely.
Full screen? Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. That is awesome.
It kind of reminds me of when you had mentioned American Splendor. Like it reminds me a little bit of the Harvey Pekar kind of artwork, and or like
that's Gary,
like a Crumb, like a Robert Crumb, or
right. And Gary worked with Robert,
Oh, really? Yeah, that's
I mean, that's Robert was a contributor, and this is one of the other ones.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. That looks, definitely. When I saw your when you had it on your, was it a banner or you had something on your booth with the cover? That's what the first thing I thought of. I was like, it looks like a mashup of Crumb, like American Splendor, or even like Peter Bagg, like Hate. Remember Hate? That I love that indie style. Like
well, I mean,
it's like you're reading something really underground,
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what it is. So I did the priest character, and his he's a sex addict priest, and when he transforms, he has a giant member that he uses.
I think I see where you're going with
So
that one.
different artists did the different creation stories, but we're adding different like solo panels to make it look more like Mad Magazine.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say I got a sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I definitely got a Mad Magazine satire, like cracked satire vibe from it. And just even you now describing it, it almost sounds like it's in the same universe as Howard Stern's Fart Man. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like just complete satire, like so serious it's comedic kind of thing.
Right.
I love it.
And so we like one of the artists I met at New York, Sam Blanchard. I don't know if you met him.
No, I don't know if I did. Was he in our area? Or was he downstairs?
He was downstairs.
Okay. I went downstairs, but I didn't get to really fully explore that. I talked to Johnny for a little while.
I'd shoot Keith's ear off, and he couldn't go look at anything else.
But he's going to do the Trump character, and a couple of other artists are going to do like one pager. So it's going to be very diverse, and it's going to have that Mad Magazine feel.
Oh, good.
It's gonna be one storyline, and so that's.
How long do you envision it as like a bunch of different issues, or is it just?
I'd like to do at least another one.
Okay.
I mean, it's taking so long to get this done, and this is on top of me doing, all my other projects. Like I did.
Talk about that too. What other projects do you have in the pipeline besides the comic book?
Well, I do, like you saw, I do creepy art on existing creepy.
Yeah, do you have anything close by? That'd be cool to show Johnny, like or in the audience.
I'm looking down at my basement floor and I see a lot of Last Supper pictures and stuff, but it's like they're in the works.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I'll cut off doll heads.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff, Johnny.
I'll put them on like something like this.
Yeah.
Oh, got you. All right,
Yeah, and then he kind of almost like the way Amy does the ponies, but like with this, with the
it's almost the reverse. That's pretty cool.
And then I found this for $1.
Oh, very cool.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, you could do some exciting things with that, I think.
So I think I'm gonna paint the song but do different lyrics on the side, and then do the doll heads, and then do like
horror themed, like complete horror theme. Like
yes, like splattered blood, decapitated things.
Are you big a horror fan too, Scott?
Oh yeah, big horror fan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I like music too. I did a poster for the Bridge City Sinners.
Oh, cool.
That's my photography and illustrations.
So you combine both the photography and that's very cool.
So with all the creepy stuff, I'm doing a big anthology book, if you will.
My wife says delightfully creepy, and then Harry said, "Now I'm getting a Toy Man vibe." I can see that a little bit. The villain, Superman villain.
But I'm doing the horror book. I'm doing Amen. I did a big Cleveland art book with all Cleveland artists, all styles in all fields.
And that's more like is that like a photography book or just like a coffee table art book?
Coffee table, but culinary arts, photography, sculpture.
Oh wow! Dude, you got your hands in everything, huh? That's awesome.
Well, it's just Cleveland's just got a lot of great talent, and so I'm going to do a second one. I'm kind of started on.
I imagine being in a community like that, because like I know Johnny isn't like out in Boston. There's a little bit of an art community going on there too, right?
Yep. They're
probably not as big as like Cleveland and all that. I imagine like having all those artists together must inspire each of you guys to just keep going and do different things. And
it does, and there's so much diversity, and people say, and I guess it's true, if you want to make the big money, you got to move to Chicago and New York or LA. And I mean, that's true, but I've not been to a city where the art community is so kind of well funded and supported.
Yeah.
And the artists support each other, you know. I mean, and there's assholes everywhere, but for the
yeah,
most,
I mean,
So
there's always going to be the couple of guys that ruin it. You know what I mean?
I
That
feel like
happens everywhere.
there's regions that are very proactive when it comes to creative communities, and then I also feel like there are shows in every region that are that type of like show to be at. So like Beverly Comic-Con, they stopped doing it, but when they were doing it, Beverly Mass, that was very creator proactive and art forward and things of that nature. There's a lot of library Comic-Cons that are also kind of in that vein.
it was interesting when you guys were talking about Rhode Island, how it's more celebrity focused. And I did a horror convention. I forget what it was called, Walking Dead Con or
okay.
No,
Like, is that the Stalker?
Walker Stalker, yeah. And it was the worst convention for an artist because Walking Dead is a great show. I mean, it should have ended 5 years ago, but in my opinion, but it was just that. It was just that.
Yeah, there's shows that are just that,
and it wasn't.
The people there aren't interested in any kind of artwork or anything but getting that signature from zombie number 3 on episode 20. Yeah.
So not to call out shows, but some conventions that are a little too big for their britches. Some conventions that are a little too big for their britches.
A certain one that's happening this weekend, I think.
I won't say anything, Keith. but what they'll do is they'll build their show on the backs of the individuals who get tables to help pay for the massive amount of celebrities they bring in, that then the people who pay tickets to go to the show blow all their cash on the celebrities and leave the people in Artist Alley, slim pins for, whatever's left over for people who are interested. And it's tough. A lot of people go to those shows for those reasons and then might happen to catch something they like on the side. Whereas, some like Terrificon, that's a great balance of both. You have people that go there for the art stuff and for the comics and comic creators, and then you also have people that go for the celebrities.
Right. But they don't overdo it with celebrities.
They don't.
Like New York is great
it's a balance
because
thing.
New York, you have the sheer number of people there, so it's like you just get overwhelmed with a crowd. Which
I thought it was good. I mean,
I've seen better years there certainly, but for a COVID year, I thought it was great. So, but that's the thing with doing conventions is finding those those shows that are going to work for you. I guess that's part of being in the community too, like because if people talk and that's another whole other problem of people like saying whether a show's good or not sometimes is a little sketchy. But what's that?
It depends on the people's interest.
It depends on the person, like
some people could say Walker Stalker was the greatest thing they've ever done in their life.
Yes. Yeah.
They're not wrong. They're
not wrong.
From our perspective, it's just like, fuck.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we've been there.
So,
been there,
the other thing you have to think of is somebody goes, I had a bad show, but the whole time they're either on their phone behind the table or, sketching and not engaging with people where, I always like, if a cosplayer walks by, I'll snap a photo of a cosplayer. Oh, you have a great costume. And that might bring them over to, attract attention. Or somebody else might stop to snap a photo of that cosplayer. And then they turn around, they see my table, and then I can engage them. There's, you know what I mean? You got to really be there at the show, be there.
I've been to some conventions, like one that stands out was, I think it was Crypticon in New Jersey or Maryland, and they had Elvira, and so many people came, but it was such a good balance of celebrity and like those people coming to see Elvira were horror fans, and I did good at that show, and certain conventions blend the two more than others. You know?
Yeah, I figured your stuff would be great at a HorrorCon. Like I could see your stuff doing really well. You know, like Chiller. Have you ever done Chiller or something like that? No.
You said, and somebody else in New York said that.
Yeah, that's a good one in that area. I used to go every year as just a fan.
You know,
but
you know what I found, and I was like, man, am I going to be like an oddball in New York Comic Con? Like, I have books, I have graphic novels, I've collaborated in graphic novels, but people are going to see my art and be like, what's this guy doing here? But I found that's not the case. Like,
no,
horror and comic and pop culture, like, it all blends, man. You know,
it does. Yeah, and I totally agree. I've seen some wacky stuff at shows over the years, and yours fit right in. I thought, you know what I mean. So, like, I don't think that's the case with most people. Like, I don't. Johnny, have you ever run into a situation where you saw an artist or something in Artist Alley and we're like, nah, they don't really belong here, you know? Like, I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, I saw people who would take comic books, cut them out, put them into like little mini light boxes, and then resell that. So it's not actual artwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
just like kind of
how they sneak into these artist alleys sometimes, you know, just under the radar, but like they're not actually selling stuff. They take other people's work, chop it up, reformat it, and then, you know, they try to present that. So sometimes I feel that's a little disingenuous. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perspective.
Yeah, they should probably be more with like a retailer area or something if they're going to sell things like that. But like, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything crazy, you know, except for stuff that outright doesn't belong, like solar panel people.
Well, yeah, there's that.
You know, like energy drink guys. You know,
yeah.
You know, I've seen stuff like that at shows, and those guys just don't belong there. You know, but maybe they're perfect for like Walker Stalker. I don't know, but you know.
I'm curious what Johnny thinks about this, because I do the same thing that you just said.
What's that?
I cut up comics, but I put them in. You saw this, Keith, that big painting in my front.
Yeah, yeah.
I cut up comics. Just like this is what I'm working on right now.
Okay.
And I put them on antiques, existing tacky paintings.
Okay.
And I use that imagery and the text and my own art. And I create these creepy scenes on otherwise serene paintings. So I'm just curious that if you think that
I
don't think that's the same though, Johnny, right?
No.
What you're talking about is
I'm talking about. Yeah. No, I'm more talking about people who kind of just like cut out a picture of Dr. Manhattan, put it in like a shadow box frame, and then try to sell that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or I've seen like people that do like, and this is probably what you're talking about too, where the shadow boxes tend to have 3 levels to them. So they'll take a comic book page and they'll like separate it so it looks kind of like 3D.
Yeah.
So they'll put Dr. Manhattan in the front, and in the background will be like the planet, and behind that'll be something else, and it gives like a 3D effect. Where honestly, I'm with Johnny. It doesn't really, to me, that's like. You're good at collaging, you know. You're good at
you're good at
scrapbooking, you know.
Yeah. Go to a craft fair, you know what I mean? I guess I don't know.
No, I'm just curious
because I think yours is a little more complicated, a little more thought put into it.
I think so. I think the difference here is that person's good at crafts. You are an artist using pieces to express something. So that's a little bit. I feel that's a little bit more genuine, Scott. Only because you being the artist, you're not making a craft fair project. You're like, you know,
it's the whole scene, and it's my art as well. I just was curious. Like, I never looked at it that way, and I just kind of wondered, I wonder if a lot of other people do. You know, I was just curious.
Yeah. No, I don't mean to cast any self-doubt on you.
No,
in that regard.
I love doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Please do. Yeah, no, please do.
My wife says the only thing I really turn my nose up at a con is live animals. Yeah, we've been in a few shows. Have you been in a show with a live animal?
Guy.
With live animals?
That guy's a piece of shit. He used to pretend to throw tarantulas at me. That asshole.
Really?
Yeah. God. I'm like wildly arachnophobic, and I shouldn't mention that publicly because some asshole is going to try something. But
Like
he
selling
was a
live
lot.
animals, or?
No, he had them just like a
Yeah, he was selling
fucking
reptiles
petting
at
zoo
one
or some
show.
shit.
I remember there was like a crocodile walking around the floor at
He
one show.
he put the fucking tarantula on the crocodile like it was a double nightmare. Like, I'm like, what's going on here? And then I'd walk by, he'd know I wasn't cool with it, so he would like hold it in his hand and pretend to throw it at me. I'm like, you piece of
It's like,
shit.
where are we right now? We
I
in the, like the
know.
Okefenokee swamp.
I
or
had
a
to go the
comic-
long way around to go to the bathroom just so I wouldn't walk by him.
Oh my gosh.
Remember
I've
that?
never seen that. I've never.
Yeah, there was a couple shows up here in Northeast. There was
He got busted.
it was the same guy, right? It was this reptile guy. He would sell like, and I'm definitely afraid of snakes, and he had like, containers of snakes, and they were in like a food container, like a plastic food container, and I'm like, that thing could just push up and it's out, like. I was just like,
do that at a comic convention.
I think you got. This is when this was at a weird time with Comic Cons when they were all starting to pop up everywhere. About early 2012, Johnny, I'd say around that time.
Yeah.
So a lot of these shows,
when regular folk thought they can just do it, what I mean?
Yeah,
and
like
they didn't regulate
all these shows
anything.
were
They're
like,
just like,
it was almost like a flea market. They would let anything in, and like you got some wacky things.
And stuff.
Yeah, he would charge like $10 or $15 to take a photo with like the snake around you or whatever.
Oh, we were at like Gary's show, and there was an acrobatic group flying around doing
there was
like
a circus.
it was a circus, a literal circus at this Comic Con. So you'd have a booth with some guy selling.
Sort of cool, actually.
It's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. I was behind the scenes in the creative process of that idea. And I said the same thing. Yeah, I go, well, it might be a cool idea. Yeah. And then when it was like in execution, I was like, maybe it was better on paper.
Harry says the Fudge People. I haven't seen that. That's more of a Gary show thing, right?
No, the Fudge People. They're at Fan Expo.
Okay.
I love that fudge though. That's some good fudge.
Oh yeah, they were at Steel City.
Yeah.
There's another fudge. There's other Fudge People in New York at the end of our aisle.
Sebastian said, "What's up, Keith? What's up, Johnny? Good to
see
you,
Sebastian."
Man. And
the funniest thing in New York was at Artist Alley at the far end. There was a sushi cart.
Oh, really?
I was like, "What's worse, gas station sushi or Artist Alley sushi?"
Johnny, do you have an answer?
Yeah,
I didn't know. I didn't try. I didn't dare try it.
Okay.
No, I tried and true. I know my places in New York to hit for food.
My wife, I think she was talking about the differences between. That's different though. She said that's artistic collage. I don't know if she must have been talking about your painting there. She said, my wife said the show was like Bartertown. Yeah, it really was. It really was like Bartertown.
I'll trade you 3 wolf pelts for that comic book.
Right. So the other thing I'm fascinated by, Scott, too, is the fact that you're a park ranger, which I imagine that must feed into your artwork a lot, right? How'd you get into that? Like, is that something you had a desire to do as well, or?
I had no idea to become a park ranger until I kind of fell into it in college when I wasn't good at graphic design. There was too much math and geology, so I'm like, what the hell am I going to do?
Right.
There's a camping class at Kent State. I'm like, I've grown up going camping. I could do that, and it was like a whole program, like a recreation, forestry, and I just was lucky, and because growing up in Cleveland, I mean, I either was drawing or my parents would take us. We would go camping 3 weekends every year, and we would take vacations to national parks. And so I grew up doing that as much as I grew up working on art. And it's been awesome. Like you usually start as a seasonal ranger where you work 6 months, then you move somewhere else. So I did that for like 10 years. I was kind of a gypsy, and I've lived and worked
really?
in the country.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I
And
picture now, is it like with a ranger? Like, I think a friend I went to high school with is one too. Is it? Are you just the one guy at the parks, or is there a bunch of rangers? Or is like I always?
well, depends on it. Like if you work for a national park, there's a bunch of rangers, but there's different kind of rangers. You could have law enforcement rangers. I was
Oh,
mostly
okay.
an interpretive ranger where I would lead the hikes and do all the talks.
Oh, very cool.
Uh, there's I did firefighting, I did wildlife stuff. I mean, I work for state parks where there's not as many rangers, but there's all kinds of different jobs for park rangers.
Are you
Interesting.
still doing it?
Yeah, I'm still a park ranger. It's not as glamorous as it was. I'm kind of like I guess an area ranger. It's more of kind of a desk job, to be honest, where I'm doing more planning, trying to
Okay.
do good environmental things, change different ways how things are done, support other rangers and help out. So
Oh, cool.
it's not as glamorous as it was, but it's more administrative and kind of bureaucratic. But at the same time, I think I could make some really good changes at where I'm at.
Yeah, like because you're kind of making new rules and like right, like that kind of
Different
thing. Like help.
practices, different
Yeah, like trying to make things
plants and
better.
things,
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
birds, helping pollinators, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's
So,
fantastic.
two-part question for me right now is one, in your time as a park ranger, is there any wild stories or run-ins with Sasquatch that you can like share? Anything that's just completely off the walls
Baffling.
bananas that you can, a good story you can tell? And two, has any of your time as a park ranger reinforced your creativity and your creative output?
Okay, part one. Top.
Like, if you run into any cryptids,
Yeah.
No,
Chupacabra?
no monster. Well, no monsters except the visiting public. That's a part two answer. Things that stick out, like I worked in the Blue Ridge Parkway and I worked with black bears and scared black bears away from campgrounds. And me and a ranger went in to scare one off, and she had rubber bullets in it. It was dark and it was so close. I was so nervous because it was my first park ranger job, and eventually it ran away. But the way it sounded, like we were 15 feet apart from each other in these giant rhododendrons in North Carolina, and nothing happened. But I've never been so close to. I love that they're my favorite animals.
the bears.
Yeah, I got to help a friend who's a biologist at the Grand Canyon tag,
cool.
capture, and measure, and then re-release a mountain lion. So that was amazing.
Oh wow.
Probably the best, maybe a lifelong highlight was, and if I never become a famous artist, it was probably my 15 minutes of fame. I was one of the artists chosen to give a tour to Barack Obama and his family at the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And I was at the spot with all the media, so I was like on the news and stuff. And
oh wow, that's really cool.
got to spend like 15 minutes with the family and do a geology program with the girls, and it was just
wow.
It was
phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was. I mean, tracking and helping California condors, the countless number of kids that you hopefully introduce them to nature and
yeah, and they find it like find a passion for it instead of just being on their phone the entire time.
That's maybe the most rewarding thing is the kids. And
because I love to go, I may not look it, but I love to go out. We go on bike rides in the summertime up in this way, and oh my god, there's a trail we go down that's just wonderful with like just nature and all kinds of stuff. We see all kinds of crazy animals every time we go on there. I love that part of it, being outdoors and like getting that, what is it, that endorphins, like when you breathe it in, and I love that stuff, so I do like the outdoors a lot. And I do love animals, so I respect that, and I'm actually generally curious about that. That was really cool.
I'm so thankful to
seems like a good thing, a good fit for an artist too, like just like just.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's like the part 2 question. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, so how does that lead into this?
Well, it's just like I haven't been doing it lately, but I do a lot of nature inspired work. I do a lot of art that I donate to raise money. Like I was selling things at New York to the money goes to a preserve that I stayed at in Ecuador. So just trying to capture the beauty of nature through art inspires me, but also I don't want to complain about being a park ranger, but dealing with the public and
the public ruins everything.
Yeah,
Let's just face
ruin
it,
everything.
right?
Exhibit A, Woodstock 99.
Oh man,
I was there.
So you're a big Limp Bizkit fan?
Oh God, it was terrible.
Well, I work in customer service, so it's horrible. But like,
it's just people's ignorance and lack of respect to nature, and the complaining about certain things. About most of your tax money does not go to the national parks. It goes to our military and Social Security. And
yeah, right.
Don't blame me that the national parks are charging what it's $25
things like
for a week
that.
pass.
Yeah,
you're complaining about paying $25 to go into the Grand Canyon for a week, but you'll probably shell out.
Yeah, I don't get that because we have a ton of parks here, and I've never once complained about paying for parking or just to get in there.
Well, I've had jobs too where I never carried a gun, and I don't really want to, but I've had park ranger jobs where I could write tickets. I mean, I could write tickets right now, and dealing with that aspect, dealing with people dumping shit, literal shit. And people are just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm not saying all people, but I've seen enough of it where it's just like, man.
Yeah, right. It's no respect for anything. I mean,
there's loads of humanity that you can
see it
witness
everywhere.
Yeah,
self-importance,
Right.
Yeah, definitely. It's
it's kind of
no respect for anything. Like everybody's a narcissist now too. It's just it's crazy. I thought there was some couple funny questions here. One, Harry was asking, is Mount St. Helens erupting anytime soon? It's due, right?
It was. I'm going to get into a total geology nerd here.
Yeah.
Yes. Geology nerd hat on.
When I was there, it was currently erupting. And so,
really? Okay. Cool. What year? When was this?
2005, 2006.
Okay.
So
how often does it erupt? I don't know.
All those volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest are active. That means that they have tremors, they have earthquakes. They're all active. When I was there, it was physically erupting, and you could see it. The volcanoes in Hawaii are erupting, and the lava flows out. That's because it has less silica.
Okay.
And when I would say my ranger talks, it flows out like syrup. Mount St. Helens erupts like toothpaste. It just comes out and builds up. That's why the mountains are like this.
Okay.
And Hawaiian are like this.
Okay.
Because it flows down. The Mount St. Helens, it erupts. It has more silica. And so when I was there, you would look in the crater 1 week. If you go back a week, you could physically see a change without binoculars.
Wow.
It was erupting, and you would get ash falls and stuff. But right now, it's not erupting, I don't believe, but it's active.
Huh.
But yes, it is due for a big one, I think.
Yeah. Oh wow. So Harry's not off there.
More worrisome is Yellowstone is overdue for an eruption, and when that goes,
yeah. Oh really? Not gonna be pretty, huh?
That's considered a super volcano.
No shit. Wow. Okay. Would that wipe out the park?
It'd wipe out the world, probably.
Oh really?
Whoa.
Yikes.
Yikes.
So is anyone doing anything about it, or can we even do anything about it, or is it like it's just whenever it wants?
Nature, brother. That's nature.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're like.
Can you imagine? And that's part of what inspires creativity.
Look at what's happening now. And I don't want to get on my soapbox, being an environmentalist, but look what's happening now, man. I mean, it's People have been saying this is going to happen for 40 years, and still nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, things are slowly changing, but I mean,
yeah, it's
how is it going to do it? So
yeah, it's gonna take forever to make any kind of change,
yeah.
It's you're right. I mean, I work in the solar panel industry, so
Oh, cool.
yeah. So I mean, we're busier than all heck, So even right through COVID, we never got furloughed. Our business actually picked up. Like we've actually hired people. So like my company's about 30 people. Now it's up to about 40 since COVID. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to see
the
that
stuff
people
that happen though, but it's like, bigger things too. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that people are going more green, I guess, like, and just, that kind of stuff. But my wife had something here too. It was the public in nature, the grass is too long, that wildlife isn't close enough for a selfie. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I've physically seen with my own two eyes people trying to put their kid on an alligator, people trying to put their kid on an elk. So the elk in the Grand Canyon are 2,000 pounds. The males, their antlers are, I mean, they will, not to be graphic, but they will cut off your head. And if it's in the rut,
somebody up.
Yeah. If they're in the rut,
out of control with the selfies and the
people fall over the edge of the Grand Canyon, and I've carried out dead bodies on stretchers, and it's, I mean, some of it's sad. That sounds kind of like an asshole. Some of it's sad. It's sad, but like people accidentally like having a heart attack, but some people just do stupid shit and they fall. And
yeah, I mean, that's what it boils down to, people being idiots, like, and then, things just work themselves out from there. I always say, like,
like people want you to put a fence around the entire Grand Canyon. And it's like, well, that's, people are allowed to do yoga on a rock on the edge of the Grand Canyon. That is their right.
Yeah.
And then, because somebody was complaining to me about that, you should go tell them to get off. I'm like, well, they're allowed to do that. Well, what if they fall? And I'm like,
that's their
problem.
Die?
What do you want me to do, lady? I mean, nobody wants to take responsibility for their own actions, or they blame somebody else, like the litigious society. It's just,
I was at the Grand Canyon when I was a little kid. And the one thing I remember, besides the view was absolutely amazing, was I remember the squirrels there where they come right up to you and you can just pat them. It was like insane. I've never seen that ever.
Well,
I've ever forgotten that, which is,
you know why that is, right?
Yeah, because people feed them constantly, I would imagine, right? But it was
Ranger Keith, good job.
Yeah. But I never seen that before. It was insane. Like they come right up to you and you can just pat them. It was like, it was nuts, but I love the Grand Canyon. It was really cool. I'd love to go back again. But
it just brought back memories of telling people not to feed the squirrels when they're right in front of a "Don't feed the squirrel" sign.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody came up to me at the visitor center, and I'm like, I get bit by a squirrel. And I tried to be professional and nice and say, oh, well, were you feeding it? Well, no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Do you think I have rabies? I'm like, maybe. You should go check it out. Really? I'm like, what do you want me to do, man?
Wild animal. People.
Yeah, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, the whole thing is fascinating. Like that's
the geology and everything.
Yeah, no, it's really cool that you get to travel all over the place too. Like, that's awesome.
It's very important. I don't want to complain too much about it because it's been an extremely rewarding career.
It's like every job though, right? There's always that one or two little things that you don't like. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But the good outweighs the bad, which is
it seems like it's gratifying for you, and that's the most important part.
Right. Yeah, I'm very lucky for not knowing what the heck I wanted to do going into college, I'm really happy. I'm really lucky with how life
to have gotten into that career. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then art and like just meeting you, Keith. Like it's doing these things. Like I'm genuinely happy. I'm genuinely happy.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well,
We had some good talks that
weekend. Might not look like it, but I'm just.
Well, the other thing, Johnny, I kind of helped Scott out with, and the audience might get some, is he was, looking to get distribution with Diamond. So I sent him a lot of the Diamond stuff, like how to put a package together to kind of get distributed. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. With Diamond, will either take you or they won't, but the best thing you can do is just follow the rules to a T and then send it off and see what happens. I think they're a little more open for indie guys now because Marvel and
I think
DC
they're struggling.
I
think the doors are wide open. They're saying, "Come on in."
The only thing that sucks about going through Diamond now is it's like paying a middleman to distribute their stuff, but the good thing about it will get you into certain stores. It will get that's the key. Like I know that's what you were kind of looking for, right? To get your artwork out there a little more. And
well, in future projects, I have a friend that does like horror poetry and other things that I do that are a bit on the weird or very underground side. I mean, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And current things that I have, but yeah, exactly. And I need to follow up on that email that you sent. And again,
yeah, definitely. Just look at the links I sent you. They explain like what you need to do to send off a submission, what they call a submission package to them.
And that Alterna sounded interesting too. Alterna.
Which one?
Alterna Comics. What you guys were talking about?
Oh yeah, that's my publisher.
Okay. You mentioned them in New York, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're like a small press company. The thing with him is, it's same thing where you got to submit, the book,
right.
And he doesn't take I think he may take 1 or 2 projects a year, so it's tough to get in there.
He wants completed work, right?
Yeah, it's almost like the Image model where it's like Image Comics. It's like
right
where they're just sort of a publishing house and they put the project out in the world, but they don't do anything with the art or writing on it,
Well, see, that's kind of what I'm
looking for.
Because I'll put the book together, I'll get it printed, I'll get it made, I'll have a physical book.
Yeah.
I just need help getting it out there. I mean, with my job and I don't have a very expensive lifestyle. I could afford to make some of these books. I just need help getting it out there.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing because me and Johnny jumped into crowdfunding this year, and I've been doing it right along. I'm finding because I've done all of it. I've done this. I've done my own stuff through Diamond.
Yeah.
Now I'm with, Alterna. I've been published through them, and I've done crowdfunding. And I find that because I've had my stuff in other stores, Alterna's been able to get my stuff into a bunch of stores. And I'm finding that crowdfunding is becoming the best thing for me because everybody that backs your crowdfunding, those books are going to somebody physically. Even when my stuff went to stores, I don't know if they're still sitting there on the shelf. I don't know if, people have ever bought them, I know I've seen pictures, so I know some have, people have tagged me in pictures in other states and things like that, where they picked up the book or whatever. But I don't know. I find crowdfunding to be the new thing. Wouldn't you say, Johnny?
I think that's the new model going forward for the indie level creators. Is that if you're not with a pub that's assigned to Penguin or Random House or something like that, they're probably going to be going towards crowdfunding. You know, Diamond just seems to be like a dying breed in a little bit of a way.
Yeah, the only thing Diamond Gut has going for it is that its catalog goes to every comic store. Every comic store orders from Diamond essentially. Although, I mean, that's sort of changing here and there. I mean,
well, DC's pulled
2
out
years
of Diamond,
ago,
right?
Wow.
Yeah, DC and Marvel are gone. They've left Diamond, and they only have Image and Dark Horse and all the other like IDW now. That's why I'm saying, like, I think it's a good time to get in as an indie creator, but at the same time, I don't know if you actually need it anymore. But I don't know. You'd have to like look into it and see what's going to work for you. I don't know. I mean, other people. I mean, we know friends. Me and Johnny have friends that have books with small publishers going through Diamond now, and I don't know. I've heard varying, different stories. I don't know. It's almost like finding what works for you and what doesn't.
I feel like if you do your due diligence with the platform, Kickstarter, Indiegogo are like a surefire way to go, because not only are you going to get the people who support you directly funding you, but you'll find you can build your fan base so much better that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, Diamond in the model of that sense is that the books are going out to stores, but you're not connecting with fans kind of directly, right? It's just out there. Mm-hmm. This is giving you a little bit more of that direct bond, which is nice, you know. Even today with my campaign, I had a notification that said like backer would like an update, you know what I mean? So it's very interactive in that regard.
My brother and I did that with Animal Crackers, and we reached our goal. So we have done.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh, okay. So you understand? Yeah. You
right.
get it, dude. Yeah, totally.
Good.
I don't know.
It's a lot of work. That's the problem.
The huge picture, I guess. You know, like getting it out throughout.
Like I think, and I'm only speaking because I have some history here with the industry, and I've done all three in separate times of starting back in like 2012, I think, is when I first went through Diamond by myself. Mm-hmm. And that experience was interesting. Like they messed up a lot of things, and I messed up a few things. So that was kind of like a learning experience.
Learning curve.
Yeah. And then after that, I was looking for the distribution to be part of a small company. Mm-hmm. And I was pitching to everybody, like IDW, everybody that was around at the time. And Alterna was the only one that I had to even redo my submission for them, but they were the only ones that kind of like checked it out and was like, oh, I like this, but I don't want it in this form right now. If you do some changes, I'll take a look at it again. And that's what I ended up doing. And then I've been with them ever since. But now I've been last year I did an Indiegogo, and it did really well. So now I'm kind of discovering the whole like crowdfunding thing, you know. So and Alterna's kind of put that as part of their publishing, like they do cool. Crowdfunding is like the foundation for their publishing now, which is amazing, So that
fall campaign is just wild. It's the campaign.
Yeah, and if it continues with the trend of crowdfunding, it's going to even be bigger with every campaign going forward, or staying at least at that level, So yeah, we'll see how it goes, So I know we're getting into we actually been yapping for about an hour and 15 minutes.
It flew right by. We've been.
I know, but I do want to show Scott's website and some of his work.
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Yeah, he had shared the link with me earlier, and I this is more of your like, I guess, illustration work, right, Scott?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I love this stuff. Colored
pencil. Yeah, it's kind of my main. I'm trying to become a better painter, but.
Do you do mostly work in color pencil?
Yeah, I would say mostly. Yeah, I mean, lately I've been doing so much like of the comic and this creepy stuff, but if you want, I could show you. I finished my masterpiece. I set it out aside. I could show you when you're done.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be
definitely. Yeah, I
awesome.
just wanted to look through your gallery here a little bit. I really like this piece.
So that's colored pencil, but it's imagery from the 2001 Space.
I was gonna say it looks like the Hey Dave. Yeah.
It's the album, the astronauts and the moon, and
Yeah.
all from the vintage album. So I've really been getting into more multimedia, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I really
Cool.
like it. And then, is there anything? What's CV? Is that your like? Oh, is this like?
It's resume.
Oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
gotta update that. Under books, I think there's books. I don't know if you.
Is there?
There's nudity on this. That's the Cleveland.
Oh, is there? Yeah, I'll
so I don't know.
I don't know how YouTube will take that. So I'll
Okay.
probably.
Yeah. We want to get flagged or anything.
Yeah.
But it's art though, so what the hell?
I know, right?
I mean, it's not super. Well, in my opinion, it's not.
No, this looks cool.
I need to add a lot more. There should be go under more, and it should be my dark side,
Okay.
and that'll show there we go. Okay.
Oh wow! Look at
Oh,
this.
cool.
So that's the antique. God, I gotta update this thing. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's the one thing with websites. I tend to let mine go for a long time.
I hate
I love this one over
CDs.
here. Scroll down a little bit, Keith. That's the one to the left there. Can you make that bigger? Yeah.
No, I can't. It's
all
at
right.
current size.
That's pretty cool.
Some idiot who designed the website wouldn't let you zoom in. So this
I like
is
that.
so this is what you saw, Keith. This is what I had behind me. This is all very old, antique, legit antique stuff.
Yeah.
And then Johnny, you could see how I add the creatures and the text.
Yeah.
So whether
Yeah,
you
this is a little bit
like
different
it
than
or
what I
not,
Yeah,
was envisioning.
Johnny. This is like thought put into it. Like
No,
you know,
there's thought here. I can look at this and try to like extrapolate where your head was at. Whereas like, you know, I walk by a light box and I'm like, oh,
okay. I mean, there is a story.
you know, yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that's what's cool about it is like you are trying to. Oh, I really like this one.
Yeah,
That's cool with all,
Really
all the
cool.
ghosts.
Oh yeah, and here's some of the dolls and stuff that you've done.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's different, man. I really like it. It's definitely something different at Comic Cons, you know. Like, but I think you fit in. Like I do. Like I think like it's one of those things. Like you come in. Oh, nice.
So there's a show in Florida. I don't know if you're willing to how far you're willing to travel for your conventions, but there's a show in Florida called Spooky Empire.
You've told me about that show.
Yeah, I was a guest at that show one year for my horror stuff. You'd be fucking killer down there.
Yeah,
you would
What's
do
it called?
gangbusters. Yeah, it's called Spooky Empire.
okay.
Check it out. I think you'd be great at that show.
Yeah, I just submitted my application for Oddities and Curiosities, and there's a thing up here in Northeast Ohio called Oddmall. So I do as much as I can, but this is not I'm not complaining. This is not a bad problem to have. But the last couple of horror conventions, I've sold so much that I don't have enough to fill up a booth. You know.
Oh, wow,
right,
that's
right.
Great.
That's a
Yeah.
good problem to have.
Good
in a
problem.
way, right?
Yeah. So I need to. I've been getting busy with.
I've passed up shows I've wanted to do because I didn't have enough inventory, or
Right.
you know what I mean. I couldn't get books in time, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and it's a lot. I mean, you know, sometimes you need to take a break. Like,
Yeah, New York is.
People realize how much work is involved, especially if you're doing it by yourself, doing these conventions. I mean,
It is. Yeah.
it's
Oh
fun,
yeah, it is.
but
For
man.
sure.
It's especially doing something like New York and
Mhm.
you know, like, you know, we came down and we have to come down a day before just to get everything in there and get set up, and then the hotel
Also,
is
when
like
you work
a
an office
nightmare.
job, that means you have to take an extra day off.
Yeah,
right?
it really
That's-
is. And then usually when I do a 3-day show, I always take Monday off so I can recover for a day, like it's crazy, like you're just kind of wiped out,
Right.
But yeah. All right. Well, so we're heading into the 90-minute mark, so I'll probably start wrapping things up.
It flew right by. It was
I know,
such a
it's
great conversation.
So yeah, so Scott, as we start to wrap up, anything you want to promote that you want to let the people know about, places where we can find you and things like that?
I don't have any upcoming. I mean, I'm doing a book event here in Cleveland at Loganberry Books in November 19th, I think, the Friday after Thanksgiving. In terms of conventions, I plan on doing Steel City and New York, Comic-Con again next year, and probably Days of the Dead in Indianapolis. But if anybody's interested, like my emails on my website.
And that was
Cleveland Ranger at hotmail.com.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna share the link for your website here as well.
But just the Amen book is the thing I'm most excited about. I think that's
that's the one that you're gonna potentially get to pitch through Diamond, correct?
Well, I'd like to pitch that one as well as some of my older ones. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, they might. I mean, I would put probably start with your strongest one as the pitch, and then
Amen would be like that's gonna fit more. That's more like a traditional comic.
Yeah, and then after that, once you have an account with them, you probably can release whatever you want as long as as long as it all works out. What's that?
You just submit one at a time usually?
Well, I mean, like when we did ours, so it was a unique. Oh, I should mention this too. And I don't know if this has changed since 2012. Like when I pitched them, I had a 3-issue miniseries, and the 3 issues was I was selling them for like the standard cover price, which was $4. When I sent them the 3 issues, they didn't think they could sell it because it was a comedy book, and they didn't think it would go well. So they told me, come back when you collect it as like a graphic novel.
Right. So
I did that, and I repitched it to them, and that's when they took it. So I don't know if that would factor in, but your book is kind of not really a comedy. Well, it is got comedic elements, but you're going to be appealing to like superhero stuff, I think, in a lot of ways. And then it's political. So I think that might help as well too. So, I think you have a different situation than I do.
Right.
So I would say try it. And like I said, things are so different with Diamond now because when I was submitting to them, they were kind of against independent guys. They were kind of like, I wouldn't say treated us like pieces of garbage, but they kind of didn't care about indie guys. They wanted to make sure if you sold like a 3-issue thing, you had to consistently sell like 2,000 issues every month, or in order to stay in their catalog. But I don't think that's the same. I honestly think it's changed now because
I think it's a little bit more open-ended now.
They need, the independent creators are going to be their lifeblood now. So I think all that stuff is different from when I was submitting to them. So, but I just wanted to let you know my experience with it. So it was like kind of like took me a couple times to get in with them too because of that, because of that whole thing. So, but try it. I'd say
it out for sure.
You got nothing to lose.
Thank you enough, Keith. I can't thank you enough for the advice.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime. If you ever have any questions, just shoot me an email.
Yeah.
Definitely. And but yeah, so everybody check out Scott's site. I put the link in the chat. If you're in Cleveland, go see him at the book signing. Definitely. And he's going to be in New York next year. And what other shows? Steel City, you said?
Steel City in Pittsburgh was real good. Days of the Dead in Indianapolis. Maybe Days of the Dead in Chicago.
Do you do any social media? As people can find you on social media at all, or Facebook? Under your name? Under
Just
your
my
name?
name, and I think Instagram is Kraynak Scott. I don't know.
Kraynak Scott. Okay, yeah, just search for Scott Kraynak,
Yeah.
or flip it. All
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I don't even know. Something like that.
I'll have to follow you on Instagram. I think Johnny was saying this. We always there's always one platform we kind of neglect out of all the social media, and I gotta do Instagram a little more than I do because I haven't been doing much.
I just started, and it took a little bit to figure out because I'm stupid with technology. But
there's a lot of things you can't do with it that kind of drive me nuts, So that's why I kind of let it fall by the wayside. But a lot of people do use it, so I kind of try to keep my pinky toe in there, a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Johnny? Anything you want to promote?
So the only thing new is today I submitted a piece for that's going to be accompanying a NFT launch.
Oh, really?
Soon. So I'm going to be dabbling with some NFT stuff.
No kidding. Yeah,
in the near future.
I
don't know too much about it. I have somebody kind of leading me through it, and I'm only doing the written components. So I'm partnering with my Surrounded by Death artist Joe Martinez. I wrote a Blade Runner themed piece to some art pieces he had, and I guess we're going to be launching them as NFTs soon.
Yeah, why not try it?
I know, right? And then
I keep hearing that I should look into this stuff, but I have a hard time wrapping my head around that whole thing.
Yeah, me too. So I'm just riding the wave while I can, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might as well. It doesn't hurt to have some money into that a little bit.
If I can get somebody to help me through it, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to figure it out.
It's like like when you have that extra $20 and you're like, oh, maybe I'll buy a scratch ticket today.
Yeah.
Instead, put it towards crypto, right?
Right. Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, so technically, think of it like this: if you bought Ethereum, which is a crypto coin, in December for 500 a coin, that one coin is now worth 4,500 today. Actually, 4,600. The last time I checked. So you just it's quintupling itself in such a short window of time, it's kind of crazy. But the other thing I just wanted to say is, I'm sorry, what was that, Scott?
I was just going to say, and then tomorrow it's down to $3.
Yeah,
that's the scary part about it is that I had at one point my portfolio was 6K, and then I woke up the next morning it was 3, and I was like, crap, this is not good. But the only other thing I wanted to share was just a big thank you to Scott for coming on and sharing a little bit about yourself, your creativity.
Yeah, the stories of the park ranger stuff
with the park, and that's so great. Inspiring. Thank you so much for taking the time. We greatly appreciate
you guys.
it.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it, and much love, and I look forward to being in touch with both of you guys. So thank you.
Please come back for the future too when you have stuff to promote.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you in New York next year because we're still planning. Although I may look into trying to get into where Johnny's at in the artist alley area,
I might try to,
because I think that might be more our speed. Small press is nice, but
sales.
that extra hour sales.
That extra hour is
huge.
Yeah,
it was the best for me and Jeff for like 3 days in a row. It's just that extra
those last hours.
We've our bad days were turned around in those last hours. It's crazy.
Really. Well, because they close the rest of the show and everybody kind of goes down there. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little bone they throw to the artist,
Well, you also have to think a lot of people have that like last minute, like they have to buy something, you know what I mean? They get that vibe. So
that money burning a hole in their pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Comic or NFT.
Yeah, right. right.
I feel like there's a completely different market for these NFTs that we don't even know what the audience is,
Yeah,
they got to be high rollers
shows, right?
Yeah, or they are, or I don't know. There's some big money being pushed around with NFTs that I can't understand who's doing this? Like, where is this money
I
coming from?
I don't comprehend it. I don't
I
comprehend
don't either. You know, I think I should learn it, but like you, Scott, I don't get it. Like,
well, I'll try to learn and I'll try to impart whatever knowledge I accrue.
Like when I was at
can
New
offer
York, one of the other Alterna guys, Rob Feldman, was trying to explain it to me. He's all in on that stuff, and I'm like, dude, you just speak in another language to me right now. You know, I just don't get it. You know, so. But anyways, one other thing I want to just say, check out that Alterna campaign that they showed at the beginning of the show, the Alterna Fall pre-orders. Check that out if you haven't. All those books are going to press this month, and they should be shipping in probably in a month or so, as soon as Pete gets them back. I believe they're not affected by the paper shortage because he prints in the U.S., so I think it'll be fine, but I don't know. I guess we'll see if there's an update soon, you know. But and then obviously check out Scott, our guest's website. Check him out at shows. And then next week, me and Johnny will be off. We're going back to our old bi-weekly schedule. Yep. I know some of you guys will be sad about that, but like right now, we've been going weekly for how long, Johnny? Like months. Yeah, Scott, when we started this show, we were going every other Wednesday, and then it just became like, so many people wanted to be on the show that we ended up having to go weekly. And now it's kind of the end of the year when no one's really launching campaigns and stuff. So it's kind of nice. So we can go back to that every other week and kind of have
we have a bunch of shows still coming up, major shows coming up too. We've got California coming up.
Yeah, both me and Johnny are going to San Diego, and then also
I got Saratoga.
I got Kids Con in a couple weeks too.
Nice.
Yep.
So those are my last two shows.
C2E2 in December.
Oh,
damn! Johnny's still going everywhere. Johnny's crazy all over the country.
I'm hustling, bro. Hopefully I'll make it to the end of the year.
You will. But all right, guys, we're gonna end this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know who our guest is. Oh wait,
Jorge Medina or
Jorge Medina in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll be off next week. So, but I'll have some content up on the YouTube channel. I'll put up one of my pre-recorded reviews or something like that. So,
or go back and watch one of our older episodes.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to do episode while we're talking about it. I'm starting to do episodes about setting up at shows, like, how to set up a table, what to look for at shows, things like that, just to help the new creator who might not know how to navigate conventions and things like that. And, just stuff that seems obvious to us, but may not be obvious to other people.
Whatever we can do to be helpful, right?
How to sneak booze behind your booth.
Yes. Yeah. Johnny knows how to do that.
It's pretty easy, kids.
It is.
Or how to vape undetected.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, have a good one, and we will be back next week. Thank you for joining us, Scott. Johnny, we'll talk to you soon, and have a great week, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.